Would you wear a shirt that says, "Cursed, I'm dumb and stupid," or "I hope I go broke next year"? Well, I wouldn't.
Words are very powerful. Words carry power, even the power of life and death. Proverbs 18 verse 21 states, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." Most of the miracles in the Bible were done by first using words.
Psalm 33 verse 9. For he spoke, and it came into existence. He issued the decree, and it stood firm.
Therefore, words activate the spirit world.
Acts 16 verse 18. And she was doing this for many days. And Paul, having been greatly annoyed, and having turned to the Spirit, said, I command you in the name of Yahushua Christ to depart from her. And it went out at the very hour.
In this example, we see a human using words and the authority given by Yahushua to affect an entity that lives in the spirit world. Words carry power. Signs are also powerful.
Deuteronomy 4 verse 25. When thou shalt beget children, and children's children, and ye shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and make a graven image, or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of the Lord thy God, to provoke him to anger.
The likeness of anything refers to an image or statue. The definition of an image. The Free Dictionary defines image as a representation or likeness of a person or thing, either produced by a physical or optical process, such as a sculpture, photograph, or mirror, or by the imagination, such as a mental picture or idea. That means paper or an object with words or pictures on it is an image. And the worship of such images, whether it is a statue, an image on paper, or clothes, or any object, makes Father Yahweh angry and also jealous.
Deuteronomy 4, verse 23 to 24. Be careful not to forget the covenant of the Lord your God that he made with you. Do not make for yourselves an idol in the form of anything the Lord your God has forbidden. For the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God.
So be careful of the images you put on yourself, because Father Yahweh is judging.
Isaiah 30 verse 22 to 23. Then you will desecrate your idols overlaid with silver, and your images covered with gold. You will throw them away like a menstrual cloth, and say to them, away with you. He will also send you rain for the seed you sow in the ground, and the food that comes from the land will be rich and plentiful. In that day your cattle will graze in broad meadows.
In this passage, when the images and idols are thrown away, the curse is lifted and the result is blessings. We see that images and idols affect the spirit world. Images carry power. Clothes are important to Father Yahweh.
Exodus 28, verse 40 to 41. Make tunics, sashes, and caps for Aaron's sons to give them dignity and honor. After you put these clothes on your brother Aaron and his sons, anoint and ordain them. Consecrate them so they may serve me as priests.
Father Yahweh gave instructions to Moses to, first, put these clothes on your brother and his sons. Then anoint, ordain, and consecrate them. So first things first for Father Yahweh was what clothes would be on his high priest and priests. These were not any ordinary clothes. These clothes had images on them.
Exodus 28, 15. And thou shalt make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work. After the work of the ephod thou shalt make it. Of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twined linen shalt thou make it.
The instructions were specific to the T. Father Yahweh wanted it exactly in a particular way. This shows that it was important to him. The breastplate of judgment was a square of fabric made of linen and gold, blue, purple, and scarlet yarns, and doubled over. The piece was held in place with cords of gold attached to golden rings. Set in the breastplate were 4 rows of 3 stones set in gold, each engraved with the name of one of the 12 tribes. The stones were sardius, topaz, carbuncle, emerald, sapphire, diamond, jacinth, agate, amethyst, beryl, onyx, and jasper. The high priest would carry the names of the tribes on his heart into the holy place for remembrance before Yahweh. Each part of Aaron's garment had a meaning.
Exodus 28, verse 40. And for Aaron's sons you shall make coats, and you shall make for them belts, and bonnets shall you make for them, for glory and for beauty.
If clothes can be made that glorify Father Yahweh, then clothes can also be made that glorify Satan and his fallen angels. You see, what images we put on clothes and the type of clothes worn has an effect on the spirit world and spiritual beings. The effects that clothes, signs, objects, and images have on the spiritual world affects human beings in the physical world.
Acts 19, verse 11 to 12. Yahweh did extraordinary miracles through Paul, so that even handkerchiefs and aprons that had touched him were taken to the sick, and their illnesses were cured and the evil spirits left them.
The power and authority given by Yahusha to his servant Paul was able to extend to the very clothes he wore. Let me say that again. The power and authority given by Yahusha to his servant Paul was able to extend to the very clothes he wore. So spiritual power is able to inhabit clothes. It is able to inhabit fabric. Not only does it inhabit, it acts. Just the handkerchief, an apron from Paul's body was able to transfer Yahusha's power and authority. The fabric from Paul's body was able to heal the sick and cast out demons without a word being said. Also note that spiritual power was able to pass through fabric to affect spiritual beings without a word being said.
Luke 8:43-46. And a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years, but no one could heal her. She came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak, and immediately her bleeding stopped. Who touched me? Yahusha asked. When they all denied it, Peter said, Master, the people are crowding and pressing against you. But Yahusha said, Someone touched me. I know that power has gone out from me.
In this passage, Yahusha's power was transmitted through fabric, through his clothing, without a word being said. Yahusha didn't plan for that power to leave him, but by the woman's faith, the power left him. Spiritual power was able to be transmitted through clothing, without initial knowledge. Now let us use wisdom. Let us use the knowledge about the spirit world that we have gained from the scriptures. Satan's kingdom operates in many ways similar to Yahweh's kingdom.
Ephesians 2:1-2, King James Version. And you hath he quickened, who were dead in trespasses and sins, wherein in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience.
The Bible refers to Satan as the prince of the power of the air, the spirit at work in those who are disobedient. The most common spirit in Satan's kingdom are fallen angels, otherwise called demons. These spirits are drawn to those who are disobedient to Father Yahweh's laws. Those spirits are drawn to people, to objects, to images that break or promote the breaking of Father Yahweh's laws.
1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
Those spirits are searching, they're moving, they're actively seeking to kill and destroy. These wicked spirits are not in hell, they are on earth and have been on earth since their fall from heaven. And they seek to inhabit the bodies of those who are disobedient to Yahweh's laws, so that they can find rest and begin to work through that same body to destroy Yahweh's creation.
Mark chapter 5:4-5. For he had often been chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills he would cry out and cut himself with stones.
Let us look at the clothing brand, Psycho Bunny. Pirates used the skull and crossbone symbol as their ship's flag as part of their terror tactics during the early 17th century. Skull and crossbones signify death, which made it recognizable across the Caribbean and European waters. After the decline of piracy, the skull and crossbones symbol was largely used to signify danger and poison. The image of a bunny's skull has replaced the human skull because of the use of an innocent creature over such a deadly image. I looked up the history of the rabbit when it comes to witchcraft and any other forms of magic. According to LearnReligions.com, in African mythology, rabbits were bad luck, though rabbits were related to gentleness and wisdom. In one tale, a trickster rabbit was a divine messenger of the moon and was sent to offer immortality to mankind. However, the rabbit brought death instead. Rabbit bones have been used in divination practices by many cultures throughout history, including Native American tribes, Celtic cultures, and African cultures. Divination meaning the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown by supernatural means. The use of bones for divination, sometimes called osteomancy, has been performed by cultures the world over for thousands of years. While there are a number of different methods, the purpose is typically the same: to foretell the future utilizing the messages displayed in the bones. Both symbols combined reads death and destruction into your future. Satan and his fallen angels only want death and destruction for Father Yahweh's creation. These symbols invite wicked spirits into your body without a word being said. This is further aided by the word psycho. Cobuild Advanced English Dictionary defines psycho as someone who has serious mental problems and someone who may act in a violent way without feeling sorry for what they have done. So you're calling on to yourself demons who are assigned to mental illness.
And the people went out to see what had happened. When they came to Yahusha, they found the man from whom the demons had gone out, sitting at Yahusha's feet, dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid.
In this passage, Yahusha had just cast out demons from this man and sent them into some nearby pigs. Notice that this man was now in his right mind. The battle between good and evil is first fought in your mind. If you lose your mind, you have lost the battle.
Luke 8, verse 30. Yahusha asked him, saying, "What is your name?" And he said, "Legion," because many demons had entered him.
Your body will become a resting place for many wicked spirits once your mind is in a psycho state. Ever notice how many popular songs you hear mentioning the words, lose my mind or crazy? This is not by accident. The more you say it, the more power it gives their spell to make you lose your mind. Wearing clothes with these images will draw demons to you without a word being said. Here at the Harvesting JA, we would encourage you to burn all clothes with demonic words and imagery, and to research the words and logos before you buy clothes. Father, I pray for all those listening to this message, that you would loose them from every wicked spirit attached to them because of clothing, jewelry, demonic words, and images. In the name of Yahusha the Messiah, I pray, Father Yahweh, that you would strip these wicked spirits of their power in the name of Yahusha. I pray, Father Yahweh, that you would bind these spirits and cast them into a dry place, never to return, in the name of Yahusha. Thank you for these things, Father Yahweh. We pray in the name of Yahusha the Messiah, your Son. Amen.
Thank you for watching The Harvesting. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Let's help save JA.